episode of Top Shelf Nerds, brought to you by Nerds Amalgamated, a subsidiary of That's Not Canon Productions. As usual, I have the Professor and DJ accompanying me. And kicking off this week, we're going to take a moment to pause and just remember Margot Kidder and say farewell. So, yeah, sad loss at 69 years of age, but brilliant actress and great advocate for understanding and proper support.
And what roles did she play?
Well,
Because I'm
primarily
sure
everyone-
we're not all about 100 years old and seen every original Superman.
I'm not 100 years old, you young whippersnapper.
He finally says it. Bucks finally says that magical line.
Yeah, I'll say a few more magical lines in a minute and take us to a whole new censorship level. Margot Kidder was Lois Lane with Christopher Reeve in the 70s and 80s. She was also in The Great Waldo Pepper, Amityville Horror. Yeah, she's got a stack of credits to her name. But yeah, primarily she was Lois Lane. She had issues with some, like with fame and some mental health and drugs and stuff like that, and some of the harassment. She was also bipolar. So yeah, she was a great advocate for equality and support to all the people out there. So yeah,
Sounds like she had a lot going on in her life as well.
she did. She was one of those people that even if she wasn't working in front of the camera, she was working in the background in production and stuff, and doing a lot of other stuff in the behind the scenes with different people.
Do you reckon she, out of all the Lois Lane actresses, you reckon she was the best Lois Lane we ever had?
Yeah.
How many Superman series have there been? Because I only know of the Christopher Reeve ones and the new ones with the Man of Steel, and all of that.
No, there were black and white movies for Superman going back in the day.
And actually, I remember there's a cartoon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the cartoon. There's actually been a couple of different cartoon series. Then there was a live action TV series as well with
Dean Cain.
Yeah, Dean Cain and can't remember the lady who was Lois Lane in that, but yeah. And then there was the young Superman
And Smallville.
So yeah, there's been quite a few people trying to wear the mantle of Superman over the years.
Yeah.
But like the current incarnations of Superman, they actually waited until after Christopher Reeve died before they actually had somebody else take on the role out of respect.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, didn't you realize? Because he was doing all the Superman stuff and everyone was loving it. But then he was in an accident and he became a
it was a horse
quadriplegic
riding accident, I think.
Yeah, horse riding. It was a horse riding accident.
And he was actually filming for another movie when he had that accident. And then I can't remember what that was for. But yeah, they never filmed another Superman movie out of respect because yeah, like it just didn't go mess with Christopher Reeve because he was one of those nice guys. Well, it wasn't just that; it was just because he was one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. He was always like, everyone who's met him loved him. Like with everything he went through, from being Superman and everything like that to being in a wheelchair, and it's a pretty dark place that you go through in that with the change of your life. And he was still such a polite, respectful, and considerate person. So.
Oh, by the way, the actress in the Lois and Clark TV series with Dean Cain, it was Terry Hatcher. Also famous for one of the Desperate Housewives in the TV series Desperate Housewives.
What a surprise!
Mm-hmm.
But with the Superman series, wasn't there also a Superman curse of sorts?
Not that I'm aware of.
What sort of curse?
If my memory serves me right, every actor who played as Superman's dad had some sort of a misfortune. My memory serves me right. Yes. Yes, the Superman curse. The Superman curse is a superstitious belief that there is a curse over those who portray Superman in various media. This is based on a number of injuries sustained by such actors. apparently it was started by Christopher Reeve. Apparently,
That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
yeah. Oh, actually, it was George Reeves. He was the first one to fall. He was the first one to fall under the curse. Then Christopher Reeve. He got the accident. Then there was Dean Cain. He got nothing happened to him. Brandon Ruth, the guy who played the Superman Returns.
Ruth or
Uh,
Roth?
Roth, yeah, my mistake. And then there's Henry Cavill. Nothing happened to him, but there was such thing as the Superman curse.
Okay, so there's something happened to one, but then nothing to the others. But there's the curse.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit of a stretch to me.
Oh, there we are. Here are a couple. Deceased Superman actors who allegedly become victims of the curse. George Reeves, Christopher Reeve, Lee Quigley, Bud Colley, and Kirk Allen. Other alleged victims, Margot Kidder.
But if you live long enough, something's going to happen to you.
Yeah, Margot.
So there's just people trying to twist it to fit some BS
Yeah.
from some hippie from Marvel.
I knew you were going to put that.
No, you didn't.
Here you go.
Scum sucker.
I placed it on there.
Way back, 1948, there's Kirk Allen, that's Alym, became the first actor to play Superman in live action form. So, and that was following Bub Collier's radio version of the character. So there's a black and white Superman movie. So yeah,
And yet there's still less Superman reboots than Spider-Man reboots. And we've only had Spider-Man movies for the last decade and a half.
There's actually been a number of them over the years. Like there was George Reeves was Superman for a while. I don't know if he was Christopher Reeve's dad, but yeah. But that was Reeves rather than Reeve. And then there's David Wilson played the part for a while in 1975, and then it was Christopher took over.
Okay.
And then we've got other people trying to do stuff, and there was a few Indian knockoffs for Bollywood. And I'll tell you right now, some of those were take horrendous to a whole new level of definition. I'll post a link there to the site that's got a list of them, the different people going through.
But back to Lois Lane. Do you reckon the current Lois Lane has it?
Did you just lose him as well?
Don't jinx it. He'll come back. We had peace and quiet for.
We did.
But yeah, I think you're asking, do I think that the new one's got it? Margot Kidder is Lois Lane. The other people who come into the role, I'm not going to take it away from them. It's just, she just brought a lot more of the moxie that the character had in the actual comic.
Fair enough.
So, and she's one I knew when I was a kid, so I'm biased.
Oh yeah.
But moving on. Professor, you were talking about some rogue binary planets. Are we about to get attacked?
No, it's not a rogue as in going to murder everyone you love, just everyone you don't like.
Oh, okay, cool. I can go with that.
Basically, a pair of gas giants 4 times the size of Jupiter have been observed orbiting each other, traveling through space. It's been fairly common, I believe, on the scale of astronomical events to see stars traveling through space out of sync with the rest of the galaxy, and the reason for that is usually attributed to being slingshotted by a black hole.
Okay.
But what's interesting here is that we've got 2 planets rather than stars, which one theory is that they are brown dwarfs, which are stars that don't quite get there. But
sounds like the DJ.
Yep. So it's 4 times the size of Jupiter, gas giants, and they're believed to have left from the TW Hydrae Association, which I think is based on the name from the constellation Hydra.
Let's all say hail.
Sorry?
Let's all say hail.
Yes, hail Hydra.
Hydra.
Yes, I just double-checked. It's a star in the constellation of Hydra.
Okay.
And although they seem to be heading away from us, they're 100, but TW Hydra is only 95 light years away.
The children have got to leave the nest sometime or other.
Mhm.
Yep.
Maybe
But,
they're going to go out, collide together, and finally get there
That would be
and become a
interesting to
star
see.
all on their own.
Yeah, I wonder if how many times bigger than Jupiter you have to be a star.
I don't know. I remember seeing a thing like where people were talking about distances and stuff like that. And there was a video someone had done where it was looking at comparison of size of the planets in our solar system and then going through against different stars and so forth, which made me feel kind of insignificant because it showed a star that made the sun look like a speck of dust.
Yeah, those are amazing videos.
Yeah.
And I have absolutely no idea about the size, how much bigger than Jupiter that would be. But yeah, there was talk about the fact that they needed a plane to be flying at 1,000 times like the speed of sound, and it would still take a couple of millennia for it to get all the way around the equator.
Yeah. Well, according to Universe Today, the smallest known red dwarf is 80 times the mass of Jupiter. So
That's heavy.
So for all those who play
no,
Dungeons and Dragons,
that's a neutron star you're thinking of.
All those who play Dungeons and Dragons don't pick on the dwarves. They're bigger than a planet.
Yeah, and the white dwarves are the smaller ones in this case.
But they're so much hotter.
So I don't know what D&D race is red, but apparently they're bigger. How big does a dwarf have to be classified as a human?
I don't think they like to be called dwarves. I think they like to be called little people.
Wait,
Yeah.
I thought there was midgets.
No, that's derogatory as well. That's the reason why we don't call you a midget either. What do you prefer there, DJ?
I prefer little people, to be honest.
You're one of them, so
Yeah.
we
No,
always
he's
think
not
of you
that
as the little person.
He's small, but he's not that little. It's the malnourishment growing up where he did.
Oh, okay.
Being
he
that
grew up in
crowded
Australia.
in with
What are you
all the other
talking about?
people.
He grew up in Australia. We imported him, but he grew up here.
Oh, fair enough. I was not aware of that.
Wow, my origin story is coming is being spoke about again. Wow.
He was smuggled in a crate of mangoes or something, I think.
Yeah, back in the days when it was illegal to import computer parts.
Anyways, guys, I got a question for you. Speaking of planets, will we ever get Pluto as a planet again?
It's back as a planet.
Is it officially back? It is. Yeah. Is it officially back, or is it? I heard it was. I thought it's still debating that.
I heard it was back as a planet.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I wonder if they're going to go back and reclassify all of the other planets, well, planetoids around Pluto as their own planets as well now.
I'm not 100% certain. I may be wrong, but I'd heard that apparently they reclassified it as a planet again.
oh, I feel sorry for the school kids now. Imagine telling them that Pluto is now a planet; their minds will just shatter.
No, most school kids are smart enough to realize that.
Most of them are probably just looking at the people going, will you just make up your freaking mind? Come off it. It was a planet now. It's not a planet. Now it's a planet again. You're changing your mind so often.
So just about every year since they demoted it to dwarf planet, it looks like there's been an article saying they're thinking of making it a planet again. But the latest one I've found is from USA Today, and apparently a bunch of NASA scientists have proposed a new definition and plan to bring it back.
Finally, NASA's doing something useful. But I have to say, I thought it was actually quite disturbing that scientists from the popular science TV show, whatever it is in America, was getting all the death threats when he made it public.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, people were up in arms. Like there was he actually had to hire a bodyguard at one point because he was in fear of his life.
Is this Bill Nye?
No, it's not Bill Nye. Can't remember his name. He's the guy with the moustache. Looks like a sexier version of what's his name? He plays Blade.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That might be him. I'm shocking with names at the best of times, God.
Yeah, the black science guy, as he's also known as.
I don't know what the color of his science is. He might be into black magic. Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah.
Bloody hell, people are seriously messed up sending death threats over someone reading the news.
He found it hilarious at first, but then he actually started getting scared because like some of the stuff that was happening were just really going beyond the pale.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the internet for you. You're bound to get threats and whatnot.
But it wasn't on the internet. This was actual physical stuff. Like people had broken into his home and done stuff.
Yeah, people are messed up. But the good news is if we get Pluto back as a planet, we can relearn the my very educated mother just served 9 pizzas or whatever it was.
Hey, but come off it. Like you got to remember, it wasn't until partway through last century that they actually noticed there was a 9th planet.
Yeah, it didn't even get a full way around the sun before they demoted it.
So
I bet you.
And then they're arguing about it because of the size. They're saying some people say, "Well, it's shrinking," but then it'll get further away from the sun into a certain part of the orbit, and it'll grow again, and they'll be, "Oh no, it is." It's just that, they're just ignoring the fact that it's moved into the summer period, so it's gone to the bikini body. And it'll get further away, and the ice mass will increase. So it's putting on weight for winter. And then it'll come back around to summer again, so it'll lose weight again.
So what you're saying is that New Horizons was trying to get a picture of Pluto's bikini line.
Hey, well, you know that some of those scientists out there have been perverted guys to a whole new level. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Whatever floats your boat.
I did see an article the other day saying that a guy in Antarctica managed to pick up a Tinder date. So those scientists are up to something.
Mate, some of the stories I've heard from guys who have worked on some of the science expeditions, like as part of support crew, with the boats going down and the actual physical looking after the stuff. Yeah, some of those scientists are taking freaky to a whole new level. And I'm not just talking about the guys there. Some of the girls are pretty out there with some of the things they get up to as well. But when you're stuck in a place with like Antarctica and it goes into full-blown winter, you're pretty scary.
Well, there's 2 things to do. Get freaky or get eaten by aliens.
I know, you got the vampire story. I don't know, that was in Alaska, wasn't it? 30 days.
I think he means the thing.
No. There was 30 Days of Night. It was, haven't you seen that movie? It was a vampire movie.
I don't think I have.
No.
We really need to educate him.
Well, I've seen the thing, and that was freaky.
The original or the new one?
The original.
Now, when you say the original, which are you calling the original?
Are
you talking the black and white, the thing from outer space?
It's the thing from another world, actually.
Was it from another world? I remember because I've seen a few of them, and there was one. It was the thing from outer space. And there was a thing from another world as well.
Yeah, the thing from another world is the 1951 movie, black and white.
Yeah, thing from outer space was black and white as well. So
yeah, the John Carpenter one.
Okay.
1982.
Well, see, that's not the original one. Dropkick. Seriously.
But still, it was a classic. It was a classic.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't. I wouldn't call it a classic yet.
Although the game was something not to be was to be forgotten.
But yeah, we better keep moving along.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll be here another 10 hours later, still talking about the same thing. Next topic up, we've got another delivery robot. We've spoken a bit about about different delivery robots and being picked on in different parts of America. But apparently India embracing technology to make a better world, actually using a robot to help deliver water in rural India. And it's been trialled by the University of Glasgow in conjunction with Amrita University.
So that's a very handy robot.
It's just people finding uses for technology that is actually making life better rather than just being lazy.
Yeah.
So,
not to mention when it comes to rural areas, you have to go miles from one village to another just to get like a whole container of water for the day. That's just insane.
Yeah, that's why it's so important for charities to build a pump in every village so that everyone has access to the water.
Mm.
But this would be a great way to help deliver water to areas that don't have easy access to pumps.
Well, it's not even just like you can have a pump in a certain in each village, but they don't have water in the actual house. So you can use this for getting water from the pump to the people's houses. So
Yeah,
if you have an elderly person on their own, load up a few big water bottles, take some water over, drop it off. Hey presto, it's making life easier for that person to be able to live comfortably with the necessities of life.
Yeah. And the feedback from the people, it's pretty positive from what I've gathered.
Yeah, anything that's making life a little bit more suitable and sustainable by doing things such as this, people are going to love the idea. So I can't see the reason why there'd be any negative feedback. Like the only area that I'm not sure how they power the robot. So, but yeah, if it's a solar powered robot, even better.
yeah.
But that'd be like the only negative thing that anyone could come up with it, as far as I could see.
Is the price?
No, just if it's not solar powered and running on petrol, that'd be the only negative. The price, it's a husky robot, so it's a pretty tough little beast. So yeah,
I'm seeing here they're saying the price is the thing that's limiting the access to the village with this technology, and the robot costs around £30,000.
yeah, but that's because it's a new technology.
Yeah, if they can get into mass production, that'll help.
Yeah.
So
hey, mate.
As soon as they work out the design and have it into the right format of what's required, you can have someone set up a factory in India where they can pump these out, where it probably only costs about $50 a robot.
Hey, how about asking Boston Dynamics to make Spot Minis to deliver these things? That'd be cool.
I think
2 universities already involved.
Yeah,
and Husky is a brand that they do lawnmowers and so forth, so they're already pretty solidly in the market with a lot of the.
Isn't the brand Husqvarna?
There's Husqvarna and there's also Husky.
Okay.
So yeah, you got a couple of different ones there. So not sure if there's somebody else we can bring into it, but yeah, like these guys seem to have their stuff organised and they're running pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just at the moment they're trialing it, working out what's required. As soon as it's all set up, as I said, like you can set up a factory in India and have these things being mass produced where you can sell them for, well, not even $50, because $50 Australian is a ton of cash in rural India. But yeah, make it so it's reasonable costing for people to be able to live comfortably.
Yeah, yeah.
And give it a few years and someone will modify it into a bartending robot. Just strap a keg to it and have it walk along pouring drinks.
Well, that's the suitcase we had last week.
Yeah.
We're talking about making it so it's a bit bigger and got a stretcher. You could actually have one that's a bar that follows the bartender around at parties.
Oh, that would just be brilliant.
We could have a buffet that follows the DJ when he goes around the place with his own KFC and pizza.
So you were saying about how much 50 Australian dollars would be in Indian rupees?
Mm-hmm.
2,555.83 rupees.
Okay, and what's the average daily wage in rural India?
Oh, that's...
Now I've given you a question, haven't I?
Yeah. And what's their buying power like?
It's not much of a buying power. Oh, well, depends on the demographic and...
No, it's the same for everyone because dollar for dollar, the buying power is the same for everyone. It's supposed to be a way to quantify the cost of living between different countries.
The reason why I said daily wages is because some parts that people only get work for a day.
Yeah, and it's a pretty low wage. I think it was 14 rupees.
I'm just trying to find it. I've actually just gone to a website from the Indian government here.
It's I've got something on Bing. Indian in fact, the Asia Floor Wage Alliance calculate that the living wage in India is is Cambodia. What?
We're not asking about Cambodia.
And just to clarify, we're not being sponsored by Bing. You don't have to say, I looked it up on Bing.
Only reason why I also went to the Indian government website was just, I figured it's their country. They should know. State-wise, everyday
Living wage for India, according to 2015 figures, 18,727 rupees.
That's you got people earning huge amounts, but you got a lot of people that aren't earning that amount of money.
Yeah.
And was that rural India?
It's India altogether.
Yeah, so you got the cricketers over there that are making tons of cash, and you got the other people out in rural India that are struggling to get enough food to live on a daily basis. So I can't see an actual.
I bet you the minimum wage would be non-existent as well. Here we are.
Okay. Wages in India increased to 272.19 rupiah a day.
That's Indonesia.
Pardon?
That's Indonesia. It's for rupiah.
Rupee.
He was saying rupiah, so my mistake.
Moving on. But averaged, it's only $146 a day with a record low of 3.87 Indian rupees a day. That was in 1965. But and the 2014 figures were 146, was part of the average.
Yeah, it's hard to find figures like these anyway.
So if it's $50 is what is it? You said 18,000?
22,000. Yeah, 2,500.
2,500, and yet you got people that are trying to subsist on 146.
Yeah.
So a low-skilled worker in India is looking at 10,300 rupees a month in 2017.
Wow, that's scary.
And that's not rural India. That's just India. So that's a low-skilled worker. So gone a little bit off track by looking at these figures.
Yeah.
But as far as the robot's concerned, if you got it something like that, the whole village would put in to buy it or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good cause. It's a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Professors, moving along, you wanted to talk about some TV shows that were being cancelled and renewed.
Yeah, so this week a lot of shows have been the last few weeks have been going through the acts, and there have been a lot of shows that have been cancelled recently, so for example, NBC has cancelled The Brave, great news. They even ABC has cancelled a couple of shows such as Once Upon a Time, Marvel's Inhumans, Deception. The biggest one that was cancelled but luckily got saved was Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was cancelled by Fox and got revived by NBC, which that surprised me a lot. But the other biggest shock was Lucifer being cancelled, and not only Lucifer has been cancelled, but a lot of other big name shows have been cancelled as well, like the X-Files.
A long time ago.
What's up?
Didn't that end a long time ago?
They did. They brought it back. They brought it back again somehow.
It's always been on a bit of a cliffhanger there because I don't think they ever brought it back as a show. They just brought it back for one season at a time. They never made it seem like they would be able to keep it.
But yeah, Lucifer's been, and so the reason people have been up in arms about, for example, Lucifer being cancelled is because Fox has explained why they cancelled all the shows, and it was because football. Thursday night.
That's me again.
Oh, the professor. Professor?
Yeah, I'm here. You're the one who had trouble. You cut out.
I'm fine, man. I'm fine.
Not at our end.
And that on me as well, though, mate.
But yeah, it's just basically Fox Network has made a deal with the NFL, and so in order to take over 30 hours of space, they took out a lot of shows.
Haven't they got sports channels where they can put all the football and other retards onto.
You'd think so.
You would think, yeah.
Considering the fact that we had a discussion the other week that it's the sports jocks that are the ones that are the violent and problem makers. Leave the nerds to have their own shows so that we're happy, we're peaceful, we're quiet. We're easy to look after and treat well. Don't upset us because we're the ones who know how to build the bomb. Unlike your footy fans, we know how to build proper bombs that will just annihilate your entire office. And we know how to find where you live without having to ask direction.
Mind you, though, this deal with the Fox Network and NFL, it's worth $550 million per year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, though.
Well, you're never going to see any of it, so why do you care?
Yeah, good point. But then I have some good news though. Some of the shows that we thought that were going to be cancelled are not going to be cancelled, such as Gotham. Apparently, next season's going to be the last season. Lethal Weapon's been renewed, and Agents of Shield as well. So that's the only bright side I can think of for this.
And there he goes again.
Yep. But one of the good things is NCIS is still going strong as the world's #1 series.
What about all the spin-offs? Are they going too?
As far as I'm aware, they're still going. But NCIS, the original series, is still it's been going for 15 years. It's pretty much the highest rated show, and it's constantly up there. And there's more people who watch that than watch football. So Fox, pay attention to what actually worked. Bunch of meatheads running around attacking each other was called WWE at one point. And that was a really big flash in the pan back in the early 80s, and then it died off and came back and it died off. Seems to fluctuate with the level, like between football and wrestling, the amount of brain cells and inbreeding.
Who was your favorite NCIS character?
Gibbs.
Gibbs? Mine was Ducky. His voice is legendary.
I just love that hacking scene where they're both typing on the same keyboard and then they unplug the monitor.
I like the saddest thing is Abby's gone. She's left.
She was awesome.
But yeah, Gibbs is just constantly.
Well, I like how Gibbs, the running gag with Gibbs and Abby is Gibbs always gives her, I think, orange soda. Is it?
No, it's Calf Pow.
That's right, Calf Pow, and bribes her to work harder.
No, he just gives her a reward to say thank you.
But there was some episode where you just say like, Abby, here's some Calf Pow. If you work hard, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, but that was more to get her to focus.
Yeah.
Kind of like we do to you, where we start talking about KFC or something to get your attention.
There was one thing about NCIS I liked. It was the relationship between Gibbs and the directors, especially Director Shepard. And whenever she says like "Remember Paris," and there'll just be this montage of things happening in Paris, and you're like, "What happened in Paris?" What?
I don't know. Yeah. I think it's down in history as the most popular and successful spin-off ever.
Yeah, it was a spin-off of Jag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It started off as like they appeared in an episode of Jag, and it just went from there. And then Donald P. Belisario actually got taken off of being involved with NCIS for a while because he and Mark Harmon, who plays Gibbs, were fighting too much because Donald Belisario was too chaotic in his management style, apparently. So, yeah. One of them had to go, and the fans liked Gibbs. So Donald got kicked to the side. And the fact that it's up to 15 seasons and still going strong.
How long has CSI been going for now?
Is it still going?
I was thinking Cyber might still be around, but
no, Cyber got cancelled ages ago.
I'm actually curious. Is CSI still going? Because when NCIS started up, there was one of the problems where they were concerned that people would be confusing CSI and NCIS. So,
and interestingly enough, CSI has gone through 15 seasons as well.
Yeah, but they went through a lot of different people over the years for the entire cast changed
Yeah.
multiple times. Whereas NCIS, like Gibbs was out for a little while, but that was actually part of the storyline where he was chasing down something. But yeah,
Oh, there was one character that was
Ian Ducky's still there.
Yeah, there were a couple of characters in CSI that were still around. Like I think the coroner was still around. I forgot.
The CSI didn't they have the what was that guy? He had the I'm not trying to be nasty. He had a drug problem.
Dr. Albert Robbins. That's his name.
Okay. I apologize if I'm mistaken. I thought they had a guy. He had a drug issue and he got kicked off the thing, and then he actually had a massive overdose or something. He was from CSI.
Huh. Wait, are you talking about Warwick?
I can't remember his name.
Huh.
He was part of the original cast where they had the lead guy was deaf and he had the glasses, or he was going deaf, and then they had the coloured guy with the dreadlocks was partying a bit too hard and had a bit of a drug issue.
That's the other one. Catherine Willows. See, she was also a regular. Yeah, but and Jim Brass, the tough looking cop. That was the other guy that was in that show. That was a regular from season 1 till season 14.
Yeah, look.
14 years working on the same project. Well,
Gibbs and Ducky and Abby were there constantly from season 1 all the way through to season 15. DiNozzo's only went out in season 14, and he went and did Bull. But yeah, so they were there for all those years. Like, and McGee came in. Was it season 2?
Yeah,
season
1. He was recurring in season 1, but he was a full cast he was a regular in season 2.
Yeah, he's still there. He's stepped up a lot. He's now the new DiNozzo. Yeah.
But that show, I'm also surprised that show is still going on. NCI is still going.
I'm not surprised. It's a good show.
Yeah.
CSI, I'm surprised it actually made it 15 season. Last date for that was 2000. Oh no, that was first episode. Sorry, was October 6, 2000.
That's interesting. The main actor for NCIS New Orleans is the same guy that played Star Trek Enterprise as Captain Jonathan Archer.
He was also worked with Donald P. Belisario for Quantum Leap. And he was originally being considered for the role of Gibbs. But we should probably keep moving on. Otherwise, yeah, I can keep talking about it. But
yeah.
Yeah, we better keep moving.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was actually watching a bit of NCIS. Professor, you got something about Google taking on the military complex.
Google employees are basically going on strike and signing petitions to protest Google running something called Project Maven.
Okay.
It's a project which seems to be related to Google's AI and machine learning and stuff being used in military capacity.
Okay. So we're going to be able to Google death toll of collateral damage by drone strikes attributed to Google?
They'd never give that out. Too much of a PR issue. But apparently a dozen Google employees have quit because of this project.
Okay. Looking at the article here, apparently in April, Australian AI and robotics professor from University of New South Wales, Toby Walsh, led a boycott of a top South Korean university due to concerns around the development of killer robots. Is that connected to the...
Yeah, it's probably not directly connected, but it is related.
Okay.
I know Samsung, the Samsung that makes your phone, they have automatic gun turrets that can punish people without an intervention, although apparently none of them have been set to that setting in the field yet. It's they've got them along the North Korean border. They're basically automated gun turrets with cameras and stuff that track people as they cross the border. and if they're a threat, someone at a command center can just push a button and get them turned into mincemeat.
Oh.
Can I get those mounted on my car?
Oh.
Sneaking traffic would be a breeze.
What about that barbecue that they used to have in South Africa, where they put flamethrowers under the car to set fire to carjackers?
Oh.
I thought that was great. Which movie was it? RoboCop. They had the anti-theft device where it would electrocute you on the 6000 SUX.
Yeah, and what was that movie? Short Circuit, where the start of or was it RoboCop as well, where they have the robot doing a demonstration and it just shoots the guy even after he puts the gun down.
Oh, that was RoboCop.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was but yeah, no, I remember it was one of the movies back in the day that had so that anti-theft device was the door handles of your car were electrocuted. So if people tried to break into your car and they pulled up the door handle, it electrocuted them, and it was a lethal electric shock. There was a guy in America actually did that to his car, and he ended up going to jail because a couple of car thieves tried to steal his car, and he was actually parked out the front of a police station at the time.
Oh wow!
So it was all caught on camera from the police station. The police officers had a bit of a laugh about it, but they had to arrest him because he was using lethal force.
And it's illegal to booby trap things.
Yeah. But I thought it'd be so cool to do because you could sit there and just watch them as they're spasming on the ground.
Reminds me of a video I saw of someone had set up a bike and wired it to a tree or something so that when someone hopped on it and tried to ride off, it would just slingshot back.
Oh, okay. I have seen that one. I've also seen it where they've actually got it so that they've got a little remote charge thing and they have a remote control for your car for unlocking it. And as they start to ride away, they push the button and electrocutes them.
Ooh.
So they got it set up so the bike's at the top of a hill. People walk past, they see the bike, jump on and try to ride away, and they're going down the hill and they get an electric shock and they just stack it big time. and they go up to him with the camera and going, "You tried to steal my bike."
Reminds me of all those old stick death cartoons with rejected car defenses. They were classic back when stick death was popular.
But anyway, they're talking about Google's AI being used to identify targets for weapons, which reminds me of a GIF I saw. Someone had taken a recording of a security camera feed in China, I believe. And as people were walking past in front of the camera was picking up people and putting up these little info boxes beside them, which I think were like height and stuff like that. Because even China, I can't imagine can create an AI that can identify people that consistently.
Well, they are actually using facial recognition in China for giving jaywalking.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they've got cameras set up, and because they got so much traffic and they've got people that are doing the fall down Charlie, faking being injured.
Yep.
It's gotten to the point where they're at the police are arresting people for it if they see them doing it. And then just to speed up the process, they've got cameras around the place and they're using facial recognition and it'll take a picture of the person and it runs through the database and tracks it back to their state issued ID photos, and then bang, you get a ticket for jaywalking sent to you in the post. And unlike everywhere else in Australia and America, if you don't pay your ticket in China, the consequences are a lot harsher than just being sent a reminder notice.
This is what I guess community service is not one. Is not one of it.
Well, now they have
community
credit.
service. They do have community service.
Yeah, but their version of community service would be very harsh.
They also have social credit, where now if you are antisocial and commit crimes and vandalism and all that, they give you negative points. And if you get enough negative points, you can't leave the country or go international, can't get certain jobs.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. We kind of have similar over here. If you get enough of a record for graffiti and so forth, you get a criminal record and you then can't get a passport to leave the country.
Yeah.
And destruction of public property and that sort of stuff when it appears on your warrant, on your record when you're applying for jobs. It's just like, yeah, no, I'm sorry there, sunshine, but we don't want a germ-ridden little scumbag coming in here and breaking stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm sounding like a grumpy old man there, but yeah.
But with the Google war, I reckon we're going to see a lot of conspiracy theorists saying, this is proof that the government is watching us. Big Brother is everywhere.
And they're still conspiracy theorists. No one's going to listen to them.
Actually, I'm just a bit surprised that it took them this long to come up with it, because we've seen this sort of stuff being used in sci-fi movies and television series for a while. What was that one with?
You mean Terminator?
No. There was a TV series that went for a couple of seasons, 2 or 3 seasons. They had humans who were genetically modified super soldiers. Jessica Alba.
Dark Angel?
Dark Angel. They had the drones that were flying around tracking people, and they had facial recognition to track people. And some of them were being modified to actually be assassin bots. And all it was you had a photo, and you'd have the photo put in. It would go find the person on the photo, and like you'd set an area for it where you knew the person was going to be. The drone would fly around. Oh, okay, and it would shoot them.
Oh man, can you imagine that? The drones now evolving into that.
It won't be long.
Have you looked at the drone strike craft that America is using? And Australia's actually got some that they've built that are pretty awesome as well.
No, I meant the portable drones. Can you imagine the portable drones doing that?
That's what I'm talking
What
about.
part about drone means not portable?
The big ones.
I'm not talking about the UAV unmanned area.
They're still portable, DJ.
I'm talking about drones. They've got drones that they're using for military stuff. They've had stuff like that for over a decade. They've had it. So they're mounted with rockets and machine guns. Like Russia, America, Australia's got some stuff that they've been using for quite a while for surveillance and operations. They're even talking about using drones for coastal defense and observation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We live in scary times, fellas. We live in very scary times.
Yeah, only if you're a terrorist or a criminal. Like if you're not, as long as you're behaving yourself and you're not just bleeding your information out everywhere, you haven't got a problem. But because you just got to accept the fact that privacy's no longer a thing anymore.
Yeah. I think that died when social media came into being.
Oh no, it was gone.
Nah,
before then.
It died long before then. Do you remember when they tried to bring in the Australia card?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, how could anyone forget that?
Hey, mate, I hate to break it to you, but there was a book that was written, or a novel, called 1984. Unfortunately, so many governments took that as a handbook and a guide of how to introduce all the observations. But yeah, that was actually where the saying "Big Brother is watching" came from. But moving
No,
on
I
from
don't
there.
expect an uncultured robot like you to know that.
But moving on from there, talking about China, DJ, you were wanting to talk about the hippies at Marvel.
Again with the Marvel bashing.
I'll bash you in a minute.
They deserve it. I'm so bloody sick of hearing about Infinity War.
I'm just sick and tired of the fact that every couple of months, there's another Marvel movie. Yay. Look, it's another Marvel movie. And look at that. It's not even an original idea again. Like Black Panther. They stole the shields from Star Wars. The entire concept of Black Panther is so similar to Catwoman. They even, to the point where they're worshipping the same god or goddess, and it's a cat. And one of the original Catwoman was actually a black lady. But they don't talk about that in Marvel stuff, do they? They talk about the first black superhero. And then Black Emperor. Phantom had that.
And the name is totally ripped off from Pink Panther.
Yeah. So, like, Marvel hasn't come up with an original idea. What are they stealing this time?
Well, due to the success of Infinity War and Black Panther in China, Marvel has teamed up with the comics arm of a Chinese internet gaming company called NetEase to make 2 sets of new comics, including original Chinese superheroes, and the characters are the character is Cyclone. That's the first one, and the other one is Lin Lai.
So we've got Taz the Tasmanian Devil. And who?
Lin Lai. He's an 18-year-old kid who takes up a powerful ancient sword to battle against an ancient being who was originally a tyrant 2,000 years ago. As for the Cyclone series,
Taz.
It's
Taz.
kind of like well, yeah, they got Taz for the first one, but the second one sounds a lot like the young Iron Man. So they're ripping themselves off now when he's facing against the Mandarin.
With Taz, here's a funny one. It's a super like a field air current.
Well, can we just meet him there?
But they're calling it Warriors of Three Sovereigns, and they've had like Storm Warrior. Like, there's actually graphic novels that are going on where they've got Storm Warriors, and then there's Detective D. Like, if Marvel's going to partner up with somebody to make it to give it a presence in China and then bring something out to the rest of the world, Detective D, come on, like that's an epic graphic novel, and there's so many others. Like, if they're going to rip people off, like, give us something interesting.
I don't understand why Marvel cares about the animes.
Because they're just trying to do Apple.
Hold
They're
on,
just trying
you
to
hear that? That's the sound of hundreds of anime fans screaming at me that it's Japan, not China.
I kind of walked past that one on purpose. But like, there's just so much. They're just trying to be Apple in the comics. It's all hype, and they're not coming up with original stuff. Did you actually mute him?
I did, because he was roboting and not stopping. Should I let him back?
It's supposed to be his topic. I suppose we should.
Behave.
Well, I'll behave. Although, mind you, the company that's teaming up with Marvel, this is the same company that PUBG is suing against for copyright.
So we've got more evidence that they can't come up with an original idea.
So we've got a company that copies ideas from everybody else called Marvel, teaming up with another company that copies ideas. So Marvel's branching out. The hippies of the world unite.
And here's the other funny thing with one of the characters with Cyclone. It's just basically Avatar the Airbender. I mean, come on. Someone who can feel and control air currents. Come on. Have you ever heard this from anywhere before?
I can do that too. It's called farting.
But yeah,
Well, you got, as I said before, you got there's the legend of the Storm Warriors. One of them is a storm deity, so they use wind and lightning and all that. Which, hey, hang on, Storm for X-Men was a copy of a Chinese legend.
Was she?
Yeah.
Huh.
You're not paying attention to anything he just said.
No, I'm actually surprised that she's a Chinese legend.
No, she's a copy of. They don't go for the whole thing. Like, Thor was based loosely on Nordic mythology. Storm is based on one of the storm gods, which was...
It really bugs me that if you ever bring up Nordic mythology now, it's all, like Thor?
And Loki?
It's so much better than anything they've had in those movies.
If you ever actually go and look at the actual proper mythology, it is so much more intense and so much more fun.
But here's the funny thing, though. It's funny how they say, like, this is the first Chinese superheroes.
Like the first black superhero? Oh, hang on. Yeah. Got all the others that have gone through in the centuries going back.
But I don't know. This is just a cash grab from all the success, and plus China. It does prove. Yeah, but then it does prove a point that China is a very powerful market in terms of like entertainment. Like, look at Ghostbusters when it hit China. Like, it just destroyed. China just destroyed the Ghostbusters movie.
Every single copy of it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they did.
The current, I meant the recent version of it.
Yeah, did
Oh.
they destroy every single copy of it? Pile them all up and set fire to them.
I hope they did. It would be funny if they. I don't know how much money would it cost in hell for those Ghostbusters DVDs.
Like with
hell?
the E.T.
What?
game back in the 80s.
I know.
Can we see how much it would cost them to trash the DJ?
Well, the trick is to send them to Bangladesh because they don't have any human rights stuff there, so we can get it done cheaply.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Yeah, but I won't be.
We've actually got the DJ going on special assignment to Bangladesh now. Yeah, Storm Warriors, 2009 movie. It's supposed to be based on a legend. And then they got Fun Wan 2 as well. I think is part of the thing, which might translate to Storm Warriors 2 or something.
Yeah, Fung One, and yeah, there will be a sequel eventually. Yeah, but yeah, Marvel and Marvel. What can we say?
I'll send you guys the link there.
Mhm.
Wuxia, however you say that word.
Wuxia
it's-
fantasy film.
They actually recently translated the most popular, however you say that word, book
Wuxia.
into English recently, like the equivalent of the Chinese Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a live-action film adaptation of artist Ma Wingxing's manhua series Fung Wan, following the 1998 film The Storm Rider.
Okay.
So that's the Storm Warriors. So yeah, like it's a graphic novel which is basically based on a legend, and then a movie, and yeah, it goes back. That's what Storm is based for.
Yeah, I bet you one day we'll see a Marvel version of Sun Wukong.
And then, but hang on, what about Bulletproof Monk? Why hasn't Marvel copied that? Oh, hang on, they did.
They have. Luke
They
Cage.
have. And Deadpool.
Oh yeah, and
Wow.
Deadpool.
Regenerate. Such an original superpower.
Wasn't that Wolverine?
Exactly. They rip themselves off.
Like they're so pathetic at trying to find ideas to rip off. They're ripping themselves off. Like DC's come up with so much brilliant stuff, and they got a lot of stuff that's original. But even when it hasn't been their own idea for some of the legend stuff, they at least acknowledge it properly. But they try to come up with their own ideas. Like I was reading something earlier on today. Batman is the basis for 99% of the Avengers.
No, oh yeah, I think that was the video you posted up on our like page.
It's just a page.
But yeah, like Tony Stark, a copy of Bruce Wayne. The Iron Man suit, as it is now, is a copy of one of the Batman suits. So the list goes on. We thought through all the bits and pieces, and lots of hippies were crying about that when I saw it on another page. I'm sorry for all those people that are fans of Marvel. Not for offending you, just sorry that you're a fan of Marvel. But moving on, since we're talking about China, bike sharing. We've heard about ride sharing. There's now bike sharing, and it's branching out. It started off with a Dutch company because they got lots of flat land over around the Netherlands and so forth. So you don't really have to worry about locking the bike up there. You just buy a license to use it. And it's gone to China, and it's apparently now taking off across the world in India and other areas, starting to go ahead. But unfortunately, China's sick and tired of the streets being cluttered. So they've actually got people going around in trucks, picking up all the old bikes and taking them and dumping them. And so you can actually see photos which look like great big fields of crops or flowers. But it's actually just all the bikes. Like when you see the numbers of, like when you see these pictures, there's one picture I'm looking right at now, and there's a bloke riding along on one of these bikes past one of these piles. It's about 7 times the height of this guy sitting on the bike, and you can't see the top of the pile.
Oh man, I'm looking at another picture, and it's just wow.
Yeah. And they keep, like, so the governments in the different areas are sending people out to pick these bikes up, and they take them and they're just stockpiling and then the companies just go out and put more bikes.
Can we get some of these? Can we get some of these guys to pick up the shopping trolleys right here?
Some actually
Well,
looking at pictures of some of the guys that look like the guys who already are doing it. I want to get some of these bikes.
These share bikes in China, the ones they have to actually pay for, they have the same kind of brakes that they have on the trolleys here. Because if you pull them backwards far enough, they unlock and you can ride them off again.
But there's one of the pictures here. Then got caption underneath it saying, "A parking lot is seen packed with tens of thousands of shared bikes belonging to bike sharing firm Blue Go-Go in one of Beijing's districts." And Blue Go-Go was once China's third largest bike rental service. It ceased operations last November, having run out of money, leaving tens of thousands of its bikes in limbo. So yeah, like there's a parking lot here, which I'm not sure how much distance they've got. They've got cars beside it.
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, holy smokes!
There's like 22 parking spaces along the road outside this car park, like going bumper to bumper, and these parking lots just got stacks of bikes all in there. I reckon we should get some of these bikes over here.
Yeah, but where would we put them? I mean, how many share bikes are there in our part of town?
None.
Wait, don't we have like 4 in 12 of them? Last I recall, around the CBD area.
Well, we've got the city.
We've got
bike.
the city cycle.
Yeah, that's the one.
They have a habit of disappearing too.
Ah.
But what I was
They
thinking,
tend to turn up in the river when they dredge it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was just thinking more
Same
along
in
the lines
Holland,
of,
actually.
look at some of these bikes. I was actually looking at buying myself one, and yeah, I like to look at a couple of these bikes. Get one of those, put an electric hub on it, a battery pack. I'd be happy.
Oh man, but although mind you though, this is the same country, mind you, that did the Beijing. There were some pictures I saw years ago where Beijing, a couple of months after the Beijing Olympics, if you looked at the pictures of the stadiums, my God, they look terrible after a few months. The aquatic center looks dingy and full of cobwebs, and I think Bird's Nest is still operational, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, aren't they bringing it back because they're having the next Olympics there or something?
I think there's the esports, but
aren't they also holding the Olympics in another cycle or two in China?
I'm not sure.
Right.
I just put a picture up there for you guys.
Oh yeah,
That's actually like that. Those are bikes, not flowers, and those are around power station, like power towers, electric towers.
Whoa!
Just to give you a size comparison. So we're not talking like the little telegraph poles you got down the side of the street. We're talking the big towers.
My God! Oh,
the caption says it's a drone shot. Yeah, not a field of tulips, but a drone's eye view of tens of thousands of unused share bikes lined up in a field near Shanghai. So if you want a bike, go to China. There is literally thousands of them there. You could, like, the government organizations are literally just picking them up and just stockpiling them because they're just being left on the street. Go over there, pick up a stack,
it's got to be worth
load them
something.
into a boat and bring them back here and sell them for $1 each.
Yeah.
You'd make your money back.
Oh, Professor, you were saying about Beijing hosting the Olympics again. It's the Winter Olympics.
Okay, that's it.
In 2022.
I found where they're going to have the slalom course. It's going to be built of bikes. You really don't want to come off.
Yeah, and other sports you can hold there. The hammer throw, you just grab a bike by the front tire and swing it around.
Yeah, actually, I saw some
bicycle gymnastics.
On the luge. You really don't want to come off on that track, do you?
Well, you can also use these bikes for curling.
Mountain climbing.
Yeah.
Like I saw some disturbing images of cars that have just been dumped around like Hong Kong in different areas. There was a couple of guys that went cruising around Hong Kong to different areas. I saw it on YouTube, and just like really expensive cars. Like there was a Lamborghini at one point, and it was just being left to rot because people were just they couldn't afford to pay the tax or something on it, so they just left it.
But so many cycles.
But
So
people can't get their cars through the areas because there's just, or can't walk through it because all the bikes that are just littering up the place. There's a picture here of a field where there's so many bikes that have just been left, and the grass and everything is just growing up in amongst them, and it's row upon row of bikes. China, the country where they got entire cities that were built for an expanding population, and nobody moved there.
Yeah.
And now they got the bikes for them.
yeah, isn't this also the same country that's vowing to cut down carbon emissions and embrace green technology?
Well,
as
they
well?
are, but it's easier for people to get around in cars for mass transit.
Yeah.
But they've got the guys here like that are picking the bikes up, and they've got that many. Like they started standing them up in rows and all that, but it's just getting so many that just throwing them on top. I'd hate to pick on their weightlifting guys because these guys are looking pretty strong now. Like to get in and out of apartment buildings, there's piles of bikes piled up outside, and you got a walkway to get through to the apartment.
Bloody ridiculous.
Like there's another picture here where there's literally like vines growing over the top of bikes. They've been there that long.
It's never going to end, is it?
And I just found another disturbing picture here where it's literally, it would have to be, I'm not even going to try and guess the number of bikes. I'm just going to let you guys see the picture. And remember that picture I showed you before?
Yeah.
This is worse. This isn't a drone's eye view. This is from on the ground. And then looks like it might be a similar sort of situation.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
As I said, I'm not going to try and guess the number of bikes because that's bikes going back in the distance there to the wall. So I can't see where the wall starts and the bikes end.
Pay some guy in China to count them for us for 50 cents an hour and have a competition. If you guess the closest number of bikes, you win a date with the DJ.
And we'll give you 2 free bikes. You go from China.
I would hate to be the intern to count all those bikes on the field.
Probably no bothers. They probably just scoop them up with bulldozer, put them in a furnace.
Nah.
No. You could reuse them.
Yeah.
So there's photos there where there was some photos in amongst this article where they've got guys there that are actually taking them apart and they're stripping down all the bits and pieces. So they're stripping the paint off and they're recycling the metal. China's actually really good for the recycling. You get around to it.
But still, I think it's a sad sight. It's a very sad sight.
And I'm disgusted because as I said, I want to get myself a bike, and I was looking around, and most of the shops, it's like you got to have $1,000 to buy a bike.
Yeah, those bloody fiberglass are shit.
Oh no! They're like $10,000. I mean, just like a mountain bike. The average price was $1,000.
Oh,
e-bikes are $2,000, and then the fiberglass racing bikes that all the road toads use, and then litter up the footpaths at the coffee shops. They're the $10,000.
The ones that you have to keep a meter from at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Until you're trying to walk into a cafe and then they're littered all over the footpath, so I just step on them. Oh, trust me, you've never seen a bunch of road toads move so fast. When I'm walking towards a coffee shop and they've got them all laying all over the footpath, and I'm trying to walk through, and I just go, "Excuse me, guys," and they don't answer straight away. I pick my foot up and put it over the top of the wheel, and I start to move forward. They all suddenly spring up, and the bike moves. And you get them on the trains now too.
Oh no!
Literally, like trying to get off the train to get at the station, and there were four of these guys with their bikes just blocking the aisle.
What happened to the bike carriers they used to have in the bus?
Oh yeah, you mean the front? You mean those front?
I think it was a safety concern because it was coming down and jutting out in front, and it was at knee height, so that if it ran into a pedestrian when they had that on the front, it was a safety hazard where the person was likely to have a fatality. Plus, so it's like bus drivers just got sick and tired of having to get on and off to do it.
So it was like a makeshift bull bar.
Oh no, it wasn't a makeshift bull bar. It was basically a bull bar. But when it was folded down so you could put a bike into it, it sat out about a meter from the front of the bus, and it was about 30 centimeters to 50 centimeters off the ground, and it was all just tubing. So yeah, that ran into a pedestrian. It collected them up, and then so they're being collected in the cart on the front of it, sort of thing. And in that cart is the bike. So you likely get a pedal through your rib cage or a handlebar through the head.
That would be very painful.
Plus, too many of the bus drivers weren't paying attention to the extra distance they had on the front of it. So they'll, you see buses pull up, so they're almost literally parking in through the boot of the car in front. Yeah, a bit hard when you got the extra couple of meters metal in front of you. So they were driving up and rear-ending other vehicles.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, I suppose we should move on from this topic. We're getting close to the end of the show now, I think, as well.
We've been going for quite a while.
Yep.
Few shout-outs this week for birthdays. David Edward Hughes, and one of the inventors of, it was an American inventor for microphone and teleprinter. And
Without him, he wouldn't be able to hear us today.
So it's him you got to blame. But interesting fact, he was born in either London, England, or Corwin, Wales. Either his mother was in labour for an extremely long time and travelled from one place to the other, or I'm not sure what happened there. But he was born in 1831.
Like reverse twin. 2 women each give birth to half a baby, and then you sort of glue it together.
Maybe that's what happens to the DJ. What happens to the brain? I'm still waiting for that to be found. Then we got Ivan Sutherland, an American computer scientist who invented Sketchpad. Actor Pierce Brosnan, an Irish actor who made it big in America. Common story. It's his birthday this week. And then an historic event for all those cultured people who actually read books. In 1897, this week, Irish author Bram Stoker released Count Dracula, or Dracula, just as it's called. So, yeah, I don't think he actually refers to him as Count anywhere in there, or as Count Dracula. It's just Dracula or the Count.
I think the Count part was I think in the 80s, was an 80s thing?
No. I think he actually refers to him as the Count or the Master of the House. I've got the book somewhere. I have to go look it up again. But yeah, so that's it for another week. Thanks for listening, bearing with us. And yeah, if you wish to, we have the Facebook page. There's the multiple sources. What is it? Is it Stitch? And
Stitcher.
There you go. I'm not a social media freak.
Hey, DJ, do you remember that jinx thing that people used to do in school?
Yeah.
Well, you're jinx. No, you can't speak. Shut up.
You've been looking for an excuse to say that for a while.
I have.
We also have an email address, which is DJ. You want to say it out loud for us?
It is nerds.amalgamated@gmail.com.
There you go. Get him to say something useful for a change. And as always, we have merchandise available. If you check out the That's Not Canon Productions page, there's links there. If you have any messages you want to send us, tell us to shut up, tell us to talk about something, tell us to electrocute the DJ, tell us to electrocute me or the professor.
50 upvotes and I'll do it.
Honestly, if we get 50 people saying they want to hear us electrocute me or the DJ or the professor, we're happy to go there. We'll probably do it with one vote for the DJ, but we're just happy to work with people. Hit us up, let us know. Other than that, so long, good night, farewell.
See you guys.
See you next week.